All right, we're going to talk about the top 10 children's games, but we're going to talk about probably 2 to 3 years old to 4 to 5 years old. My youngest child now is 3. My oldest child is 5. She'll be 6 in May of 2016. This is filmed in March of 2016, so she's a couple months away. I'm going to talk about the games that I've experienced with them, and I can only comment on the games that we've played together. And my criteria for this is going to be games that we played, games that we enjoyed, and games that fit that niche for us. If we haven't played it, we can't put it in here. If we didn't enjoy it, it won't be on this list. So, since I'm doing a top 10 games, these are probably the games that we've enjoyed the most. And I'll try to comment on each one to understand what is likely to be the good and the bad about it. So maybe you can get a quick little review about what may be beneficial to you for it. Now, some of the games, I'm going to go to some honorable mention list, and I'll talk about this really fast. So first of all is Lupin Louie. You got Lupin Chewie. And there's a Mickey Mouse one for 2. So the Mickey Mouse one for 2 players, you got a Lupin Chewie for 3, and Lupin Louie for 4. Those are all pretty good games. Kind of the con to us is they tend to be pretty short. Lupin Louie's probably made the best, with Lupin Chewie being made the cheapest. And by that I mean when you slam it down, your chips, if you ever played the game, you know that your chips will fall out on the cheaper ones if the kids knock it too hard. It's a fine game. I know it has a little bit of hype and following with it in the board game community, but it's a little too short. And short can be good, but 30 seconds is not good setting up a game, and it just becomes a smashing. That would probably be placed in the Hungry Hungry Hippos category for me, if you will. Kids like it. It's just too short to really be an activity. You're almost setting it up longer than they're going to keep their attention. Another one that's really good is by Queen Games called Banana Party. Now this is going to be Battleship for kids, if you will. And I did a written review on this. Most of these have a written review on Board Game Geek. And maybe I'll get a video review going at some point. But Banana Party is Battleship for kids. They like it. You have these pools with the monkeys on them. It may go a little bit too long. It's not a game I really enjoy playing with them. It just may go on too long. The components are nice. It's beautiful. You can kind of... I ham it up a little bit, and I let it end when we're getting bored rather than maybe the game. There's also a game called Farm Families, and this one's really good for smaller children to learn sounds of the animals. And you put the animal into... this noisemaker, and it actually goes moo or cluck, 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 and it actually has the actual sound of the animals. And then you have to pick them out in memory-esque out of these eggs. And that's really fun. So they like that. That might skew a little bit younger when they're still picking up sounds. You might even get away with like 1.5, 2 years old on that one. Silly Sentences. Now this is an educational game my kids really like. It's not so much a game as it is... a way to build sentences, and it's fun. My kids like doing it. If it's still good when they can't read, you can kind of put the words together and have them out there, and they can put silly things together, and you laugh about the sentences. There's no real game in the box, but they do like that, so I wanted to mention it. Twinkle Twinkle Little Star is probably going to be the Candyland game for us. And it's a good game to play right before you go to bed. So it plays a lot like Candyland, but much shorter. And you're putting the stars up, and you're getting ready for bed. So it's fantastic for that. Just missed this list. And these honorable mentions are not in any kind of order, but those are some games I would say if you got smaller children, these are some ones to check out that we've enjoyed. And the majority of these are not very expensive. But these are going to be the younger kids. Maybe in the future I'm going to do something with a little bit older kids. But for now, these are going to be the younger ones that I would start with. Number 10 on my list is going to be Angelina Ballerina. There's a dancing game with her. What's really good about it is that you play these cards down, which creates the dance, and then the kid or the parent has to get up and do the ballerina dance. Now, What I like about this game, it does come with a soundtrack, which is nice. But what we liked about it, it kind of gets you up and moving a little bit. It's not a dexterity game. There's a roll and move mechanic to it, but it does have the get up and move around. So this will be more of the Twister-esque kind of game for me. But we had a really good... Now, this is probably going to skew more towards the female gender, and I don't want to make anybody mad. Of course, boys can play it. They're into Ballerina and Angelina Ballerina. But I think if you give it to me, this one might skew a little more female. But Angelina Ballerina, the board game, that was a really fun. My daughter and I had a blast with it. Don't play as much anymore because she's out of that license, but it was really good. As for my number 9 game, I'm going to be looking at a game called Little Firefighters. And this is going to be a tile flipping game where you're going to flip the tiles and you're going to move. It plays cooperatively, so this can be a really good beginning cooperative game. And it has a theme of the firefighters, and each one has a different gender and ethnicity. So you're going to be moving them down and try to beat the fire before it reaches there, and you play cooperative. There's really no decisions. You're just really flipping it over and moving, which is good at this age group, that they're just kind of learning how to take turns or working together. And it has a theme of the firefighters, but it's all like... it's not Little People, but it reminds me of Little People, if you'll give me that. Just that kind of real child firefighter. So this went over well. It's a game we do like to pull out and play. Number 8 is going to be Froggy Boogie, I think it's called. It has a couple of different games inside of it, but it is a line them up, and you're trying to get down the path on these lily pads. And you put these little sunglasses on, the kids like that. So Froggy Boogie, this is one that might be a little harder to find. There's a German version floating around, but if you can track this one down, this is a pretty good little game. It is, it's not going to have the big plastic pieces, but they're like these wooden pieces that are very beautiful, and they have different colors, and you're getting it by the colors, and there's some memory attached to it. So this is one of those kids games that starts pulling everything together for them. So, but it can totally be played in this age group. Froggy Boogie. 7 of Dancing Eggs. This is probably the dexterity game that I'm going to put on this list. I think it's the only dexterity game. But this is where you have a carton of eggs. They're all rubber. One's wooden. The one's worth more. You roll the die, and you have to put it like maybe behind your ear, between your legs, and run around the table, all kinds of things. And you're trying not to drop these eggs, and the kids are getting more and more. And if adults play it, I think we'll be fine. But the kids, they can't hold that much, and their neck, and they're always kind of jittering. So it plays a little quick. So you want to play a few rounds of this. But I think where Loop and Louie, they kind of just get bored of smashing it. I think the Dancing Eggs, the humor comes through, and they like trying to do it. So Dancing Eggs would be my number 7. Number 6 for us is Tumbling Dice. I do have to help them with the addition, but they like flicking a die, and I keep it really simple. I don't have the multipliers on it. We just play it for what you roll, and the kids they're not going to game the system. They want it to go far, and it's still working. They want to get a little bit older, we'll add in the multipliers. So this game we had to tone it down just a bit, but they love it. They love the flicking of that. Went over very well. We just had to keep the math a little bit easy. This is a big one, though. So when you're storing this, it's going to take up a lot of room. They're kind of expensive, maybe even hard to find when they're not in print. But this is a great family game just to keep around, and your kids will actually grow with this one. This is probably one of the few on the list that your kids will actually grow with, and you'll be happy that you have a nice one staying around. So Tumbling Dice. And I think there's a junior version that might be a little smaller or more travel friendly, but you can check that out on your own. Number 5 is Seeds for the Birds. This is a fun little cooperative game. I mean, just flipping tiles over and it's luck, but the idea that the squirrel now is the board and playing against you is a great addition. There's a game called Max that I would kind of put into this too. Max is where the cat is chasing the mice. It's cooperative, but you have a little bit more decision making to make in Max. So I would almost say start with Seeds for the Birds, and then you can graduate to Max, but they're both going to fall in this age group. So I kind of wanted to put those together if I can get away with it. So you got Seeds for the Birds and Max. And those are good stepping stones together. 2 separate games, but they work well together, I think, with building off each other, yet still staying in this age group. Number 4. This was a little bit hard for me. I ended up putting Dazzling Princess Game. This is a Disney game for princesses where you're putting cards in a decoder and you're answering questions and you're putting jewelry on. So when they're done, they'll have rings made, a necklace, and a crown. My daughter likes this one quite a bit. There are a few other Disney-esque games. The pop-up ones aren't very good. This one's fairly good. There's a cupcake one that's really good. But if I had to put one, it'd be that Dazzling Princess game. That's gone over really well. I've worn the necklace and whatnot quite a few times. I'm not going to show you that. But this is a fun little game that you can play with the girls that I think they're going to really like and brings that Disney princess theme into it. The game is actually not bad. It's more of a trivia game, sure, but it has this decoder. The kids really like the decoder where you put the pictures in. And there's some things where you have to act like the princess and the other person has to guess who you are. So there's a lot of things going on in this game. This is actually a pretty solid mass market game for children. But there's no roll and move. The trivia, but the kids usually know the Disney questions. And they're usually centered around the princesses. So, Dazzling Princess Game. Number 3 is Good Old Fashioned Memory. Simple game, mass market. You can buy it in any theme. We happen to have the superheroes. We played it so much and traveled with it so much. We've lost so many pieces. We have a Toy Story version. The game is like $4 at Walmart at Christmas time. Very cheap. A classic, but still works. And there are games that take the memory and then add more to it. But my kids really like the memory. So this is a game that I liked when I was a kid. I think my wife bought it at like grocery store, the superhero one. Ended up loving it. All the games I buy them, and this is the game they liked. But so be it. We play it quite a bit. And at a younger age, they're able to know what's going on and looking for the heroes or whatever license or gimmick that they like, animals or whatever. So memory's gone over very well. I will tell you not to overlook this game. That kids are really, really going to enjoy this, and they're going to play it a lot of places. So this is a very good keeper for us. Memory. Number 2 is Bugs in the Kitchen. It's a mass market game that we really like. So the game, you can set up different ways, and they have to use logic to get through it. And you're trying to get the bug, which is ran by like a watch battery, so it's jittering around the board. It moves on its own. You don't move it. You don't roll the die. It moves on its own per battery. And you have an entrance or an exit you're trying to get out of, and so are they. And you're going to turn the forks, knives, and spoons to open up passageways. So hopefully it'll move its way around there. It introduces logic, I think, to children, and I like it quite a bit. They like the moving little bug that's floating around. That goes over very well. The presentation is very good. The theme comes across. This is a fun little game. I think with adults, maybe we could break it because we can see it, but then you're rolling. There's some dice rolling, which utensil you can move. There's some luck in it, but this is definitely a fun little game for children. Bugs in the Kitchen. Get this one. Do not overlook. It's been one of our favorites. Not our favorite coming up, but number 2. It's pretty high. Number 1 is Animal Upon Animal. This is a fantastic dexterity game where you're placing animals on top and you can steal some from other people or make them put one of yours out. There's a lot of variations of this. I would say probably go with the original to start out with, and you can add more things to it or get the different travel versions or whatnot. This is something that adults can play. This will grow with your children and your family. I've played this with adults and children, but the children love it. The animals are these haba, like wooden. They look fantastic. The components are top notch. This is a really fun game. Animal Upon Animal, I think every gamer should have in its collection, whether you have children or not. I think it's going to be that popular. It's our number 1 game. We've had hours of fun with this, and I think that you will too. Well, this brings a conclusion to our top 10 from 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 age group. There's a lot of good games, and I haven't played them all, but hopefully this gives you 10 plus our honorable mentions, another 5 or so, that will get you on the right path if you have little children to know what games maybe you want to go ahead and just go out and get these and start educating your children on how to play them. I think there's a lot of mechanics and mechanisms in these games that will get your kids progressing to play when they're older, the Descents and the Legendaries and Agricola's. It's all going to start with these games. So this is super exciting. I've had so much fun playing these with my children, and I have so much fun going through our list together with my kids and figuring out which ones are our favorites. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out, and I'll see you guys next time.
Liberation!
In today's world.
If you have no friends to play, you can always get
just make
new
top
friends.
10 lists. That's all you can do, right?
Or you can have new friends from games.
Man.
It's because you're lazy.